Good morning. Okay, so today we're going to start multiplying and dividing integers, which is much simpler than adding and subtracting. There's a lot to think about when we're adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. There's really only one thing to think about when we're multiplying and dividing. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, so we know green means positive and red means negative, okay, just in general terms of speaking. So the first thing that I like to do is, you guys know I love to use color to associate things in math. So the first thing I'm going to do is highlight all of my positive signs in green and all of my negative signs in red. So I think that helps it stand out in your brain. And then the next thing we're going to do is divide this, into two separate sets of rules. So if we look at the first set of rules at the top, when you multiply a positive number times a positive number, your answer is going to be a positive. And when you multiply a negative number times a negative number, your answer is also positive. So anytime you multiply two integers and they both have the same sign, either both positive or both negative, your answer will always be positive. Second rule, when you multiply a positive times a negative, your answer is going to be negative, or the opposite, negative times positive, your answer is negative. So really all you have to remember is if your signs are the same, your answer will be positive. If your signs are different, your answer will be negative. So let's take a look at our first problem. So we've got a -3 times -6. Well, I know 3 times 6 is 18, and now I'm going to go to my rules. So that looks like rule number 2, negative times negative equals positive. Remember, if it's a positive answer, we don't put the plus sign in front of it. We just don't put anything, and we know that's a positive number. Number 2, 5 times -10. So this is multiplying a positive times a negative. I know 5 times 10 is 50, and this looks like rule number 3. Positive times negative equals negative, so that would be -50. -12 times 4. Well, 12 times 4 is 48, and I've got a negative times a positive. That looks like rule number 4. Negative times positive, opposite signs, equals a negative answer. Number 4, -2 times -9. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. Negative times negative is rule number 2, and rule number 2 says negative times negative equals positive. So anytime your integers have the same sign, your answer will be positive. -8 times -8. Well, 8 times 8 is 64, and negative times negative is rule number 2. Negative times negative equals positive. -15 times 3. 15 times 3 is 45, and I'm multiplying a negative times a positive, which is rule number 4. Opposite signs is a negative answer. 13 times -2. 13 times 2 is 26. A positive times a negative is a negative. 22 times -1. 22 times 1 is 22. And a positive times a negative, opposite signs, equals a negative answer. You're going to notice the rules are exactly the same at the bottom of the page. This is for division. So a positive divided by a positive equals a positive. A negative divided by a negative also equals a positive. So we are going to divide our rules right here. Then at the bottom, it says that a positive divided by a negative equals a negative. This looks familiar, right? And a negative divided by a positive equals a negative. So, yay for us. The rules are exactly the same for multiplying and dividing. So if we focus on the rules at the top of the page, just like we had with multiplying, when you divide integers with the same signs, your answer will be positive. When you divide integers with opposite signs, your answer will be negative. All right, so let's go ahead and practice and try our rules. So focusing on number 1. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. I've got negative 12 divided by negative 6. That's rule number 2. Negative divided by negative equals a positive. So that answer is 2. Number 2, 10 divided by 2. 2 integers divided equals a positive answer. 2 positive integers. Number 3, negative 20 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Negative divided by a positive is rule number 4. If my signs are opposite, my answer has to be a negative. Negative 26 divided by negative 2. Well, 26 divided by 2 is 13. Negative divided by negative is rule number 2. And if my signs are the same, my answer will be positive. Negative 18 divided by negative 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. My signs are both negative, so that's going to have to be a positive answer. Negative 15 divided by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And a negative divided by a positive equals a negative. Opposite signs equals a negative answer. Negative 27 divided by 9. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And negative divided by positive is a negative. 66 divided by negative 11. Well, 66 divided by 11 is 6. I've got a positive divided by negative, so that's going to have to be negative 6. And that's it. All righty, I'll see you later.